Hi, this is Steph Whitaker from PCT TV. Today I'm joined by Anna Matranga from AMC Alliances Consulting. Hi.
Hi,
How are you?
Good,
thank you. So my first question would be, what do you think the biggest changes that are going to occur in the industry over the next 5 years?
I think there's going to be several things. I think one of the things that we've been talking about at the conference and over the last couple of years is really patient involvement. I think that looking at clinical trials, we do, and historically we've done a lot around the clinical endpoints, but we're also now looking at quality of life, and we're taking more of a holistic approach to the well-being of the patient. So I think that's one of the things. I think another thing that's important is diagnostics. We're now into therapeutic areas and disease areas where we're looking at prediction, prevention, and personalized medicine. So I think we're going to see a lot more activity in diagnostics. So that's the second. The third thing for me is about the relationship between the investigator and the patient. You know, with all of these wearables, what we should see is that the patient is coming less into the clinic. We're doing the evaluations at home, but the time that they do come into the clinic is an opportunity really for them to have that time with the investigator or the doctor to really have a collaborative approach in terms of how they manage their own disease or condition. Another thing that's really, really important is with regards to the fact that in 2018, more than 10% of the world's population is going to be over 65. So we've talked historically about pediatric studies. We now start to need to think about geriatric studies, and how we make sure that we have a representative percentage of that clinical trial population that is coming in over the 65 age, and that we have significant subgroup sample sizes that we can deal with the treatment of that population. And then the last thing for me, which is really, really key, and was the message from Stefan Gorelli yesterday, was about excellence in implementation and not just about innovation. They're both equally important. So as we go forward in the next 5 or 10 years, we need to be thinking about the appropriate place for innovation and the appropriate place for excellence in implementation.
Okay, because the main focus has really been on innovation over the last few years.
And I think that was really great in terms of what Stefan put across yesterday. You know, for us, excellence in implementation is implicit. That's what we work towards every day. But sometimes we forget about that because we constantly talk about innovation. So I think he really did a great job in reminding us that we need to focus in on both and not just one.
Okay. And if you had a magic power and could change one thing about the clinical trial today, what would you do? What would it be?
My wish list, and not just for Christmas, would be that we plan and we spend more time up front in the discussions around the clinical program, the clinical trial protocol, with the right key stakeholders in identifying those clinical endpoints that we measure that are few and meaningful. Today we talk about big data, that's extremely important, but it needs to be around the right endpoints, and we need to step away from that safety net of trying to collect everything just in case.
So focusing on the really important.
Exactly.
And do you see that happening in the next year or so? Or?
I don't see it yet, yes, but I'm an advocate for it, and whenever I get involved and whatever discussions I will get into, that will always be, for me, a key point that needs to be raised. It needs to be lobbied, and it needs to be promoted across the industry. We're aware of it, it's challenging times, we need to give it a bit more focus.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks.